Mistakes you're making on your LinkedIn profile. We're going to talk about in this video 3 common mistakes that we see in LinkedIn profiles that are making it harder for you to land meetings with your prospects and to close deals with them. My name is Jason Bay. I run a company called Outbound Squad. We provide sales training to some of the fastest growing software companies in the world, companies like Zoom, Gong, Medallia, Rippling, and a ton more. A lot of where I spend my time is cold outreach. So if we're sending cold emails, making cold calls, running sequences on prospects, and we want to land meetings with some of those executives, one of the things that we don't really think about is what's our first impression. So they're going to go to our company's website, and if we reached out to them on LinkedIn, one of the obvious things that they're going to do is click on our LinkedIn profile. There are 3 mistakes. I'm going to show you some examples here in a minute of what good looks like, but there's 3 common mistakes that you want to make sure to avoid. Mistake number 1 is headline. In your headline, what you don't want to say is account executive at Outbound Squad, sales development representative at Outbound Squad. Unless you're selling into sales or marketing roles, so anything that's a go-to-market persona, you don't want to put the job title in your headline because it doesn't really talk about who you serve or the problems that you help with. Who wants to connect with a salesperson and get pitched? Okay, so that's mistake number 1. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you examples of what to do instead. Mistake number 2 is writing the about section in third person. So unless you are Gary Vaynerchuk or Mark Zuckerberg or Sarah Blakely, you probably shouldn't write your LinkedIn profile in third person because it really dehumanizes you. And the about section is a really great opportunity to elaborate on some of the problems that you help your customers with. Third is the work experience and recommendation section. A couple common mistakes that I see is under the work experience, when you're not job hunting, what you will be inclined to do is leave up maybe some of the stats. As an account executive, that might be your attainment, whether or not you made it to President's Club, etc. My advice would be have a version of your profile that you use when you are job hunting that has some of your sales stats on there, and then have a version when you are not job hunting and you feel very good about the company that you're at. Again, no one wants to hop on a call with someone and look at their profile and see that they have all of these stats with how good they are at sales. It doesn't really do anything for the buyer. The recommendations, this is sort of a bonus. When I go to a profile and I see 0 recommendations, I'm a little more skeptical generally of that person depending on their social proof. So one of the really easy things that you can do is get some of your colleagues, people that you've worked with, clients that you've served to write you some of those recommendations. So let's take a look at 4 examples of really great LinkedIn profiles, and I'll kind of break them down for you. So first example is, and I actually don't know 3 of these people. I've worked with one of them, but Taylor I have never met before. We're connected on LinkedIn. One of the things that sticks out to me is she works for a company that serves school districts, and you can see education technology specialist, demystifying print and education. Her headline, one thing that really sticks out, especially when you go to her profile, is everything is geared towards communicating to the audience that she serves. School districts, it talks about education technology, etc. When you start to look at her about profile here, hey, I'm passionate about helping educators and students achieve their goals through innovative technology solutions. Here's who I work with. Here's some of the things that we help with, right? Great about section here. When we look at her work experience, she's got some of her accomplishments listed, which again, it's not terrible to do that. I would recommend under here, the about section, putting some pieces in there around the types of customers that you serve, maybe example school districts that you work with, etc. And then she's got some good recommendations here as well. So pretty good LinkedIn profile. Ronnie Pence, I worked with him when I was training the team at ops level. I really like his profile. He doesn't talk about the fact that he is a sales development rep at ops level. This is literally what they do with the customers that they work with, like engineering teams, catalog, standardize, and ship services faster. I also like that Ronnie put something personal about himself, which I think there's a big opportunity on your LinkedIn profile to humanize yourself. So feel free to put some of those personal interests in there. I put that I'm a fan of classic rock and that Def Leppard is one of my favorite bands in my LinkedIn profile. And if someone sees that and they resonate with that, that's often something they'll bring up in a sales call. But he put something very personalized in there. I love that. Here's what he does. Problem solving, like here's some of the problems that he solves. If those are problems you're having, let's connect. And again, it's just very personalized, very human. He's got a quick description of what they do here. I think he could put some of the examples of companies maybe that he works with in here. Oh, look at that. The one recommendation he has is for me. There we go. Shannon McCarty, we got 2 more. She works at a recruiting company. Very specific headline around what she does. And the reason why the headline is important, if we look over here, is, a prospect, as you could imagine, they have more connection requests probably than this sitting in here. And one of the things that they're going to look at if you don't leave a custom message here is they're going to look at the headline. What does the headline say? You know what's really easy to hit ignore with is if I see a bunch of account executive, BDR at, etc., etc. So Shannon's got a really solid profile here as well. Yeah, here's a little bit more about what she does and who she helps, client list, some things about her. And again, I would recommend checking out some of these profiles if you want to see them more in depth, a little bit more about what she does and some good recommendations. Last but not least, this is probably one of my favorite ones. And Jake is the founder of this company, I believe, but it's really obvious the problem that he helps with. B2B product launches. Don't waste your next MVP launch. More about his experience. Here's what we do. Here are some outcomes that we've gotten. Again, a little bit more about what they do, etc. Problems that they solve. He's got some good recs in here. So those are some examples. The big thing, again, that you want to do is make sure the headline speaks to the audience that you help or a common problem that you solve. One of the things that we didn't talk about here is the fact that all of them have a pretty good picture too. It's a nice headshot that everyone has here. It's really easy to see their face. They are generally happy looking, smiling, etc. So spend the 20 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever it takes to get a decent headshot. That's super important. Make sure that you got your headline locked in. Customize your about section, write it in first person, and in the experience section, make sure that you talk and speak to some of the problems that you have, that you help your customers with, and bonus points if you can get a few recommendations. We actually put together a LinkedIn magical pack that you can check out in the summary here in the about section. I have some plays in there where you can reach out to prospects, get prospects, conversations started with some of these prospects through LinkedIn and get some of those meetings landed. So make sure to check that out. That's our LinkedIn magical pack. Thanks for checking out the video.